And welcome to Midwest Access, everyone. I'm Tom Overly. So happy you can join us, and happy Friday. We made it to the end of the work week. Thank you, thank you. All right, joining me now, our Chief Meteorologist, Nick Jansen. Happy Friday to you.
Yeah, you as well. Big plans for the weekend?
Well, as we've been talking about every night on the nightly news, I've been wanting to snow ski, and actually I had Wednesday off, and you said hit the slopes.
I said hit the slopes then. Did you hit the slopes
on
Wednesday?
I didn't. My particular slope was closed that day, and then I got a little lazy to drive or whatever, but I'm kind of bummed. I mean, I know this little break in the cold weather is nice, however, kind of bummed to see the snow.
Yeah, I'm trying to
the snowman I made in my front lawn is starting to,
it's probably not looking too well. I'd like to get some ice skating in. I'm fingers crossed that I talked to our Megan Zempel. She said that the Parks Department, they were working on Soldiers Field for a hockey event coming up tomorrow, so hopefully we can.
Did you and your wife go ice skating, by the way, Soldiers Field?
No, we didn't last.
Okay.
I planned on doing it this weekend, so we'll see. I'll have to go down there and see if they have the ice ready.
Can I just say also, I live in the country. It was really foggy last night after the.
Yeah.
I could barely find the road to turn off to my house, and it was that thick. I don't think I've seen that thick of fog.
Rural roads. It will be the same way tonight, tomorrow morning. Once you get outside of the city limits, it's even out by my house on the northwest side of town.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to see.
All right, question of the day. Is this the time we do that?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so here's the question. 85% of us cringe when we hear this. What is it? Go to our Facebook page to give us your answers. We'll take a look at the answer at the end of the show.
So let's see. What are people saying here on silverware hitting your teeth?
Absolutely on that one.
Okay. A couple arguing in a restaurant. That's not too bad. Fingernails on a chalkboard. The sound of your own voice. You know, we have to listen to ourselves quite often. If you watch tape back and that type of stuff.
First started.
Hearing someone throw up. Yeah, that's a tough one.
And the dentist drill. Okay, these are all really good answers. The first time I was on radio, I had to listen to the loop, and I thought I couldn't. I just couldn't listen to myself speak. But the dentist drill, I just that's the worst.
I'm gonna go with
even just saying it makes me.
Yeah, kind of heebie-jeebies. I'm going to say someone throwing up. That's not a good one. You have an answer?
No. Well, someone throwing up like in a restaurant or something?
Or just in general. You walk by and hear someone hurling. That'd make me cringe.
Yeah, it would make me cringe as well. Okay, so we're going to have the answer at the end of the newscast. Go onto Facebook and give us your responses as well. Meantime, weather?
Yeah, so a dense fog continues. Yeah. So we'll have another dense fog advisory issued by the Weather Service here. That's in effect until Saturday morning. So again, visibility, it'll be an issue tonight, extending all the way through tomorrow morning. Probably looking at the fog lifting by maybe about noon tomorrow. So all areas there in dark gray will have that dense fog advisory. Visibility right now down to around a quarter mile. Rochester, Austin, 3 miles in Mason City, 3/4 of a mile in Charles City. So again, it's still dense even when you get outside of the city limits here this afternoon. Take a look at some of our MnDOT cameras, and you can see, like I said, when you're inside the city limits, we're looking at Rochester here, Highway 14 right near West Circle Drive. Notice visibility is okay. It's once you start to get on some of those rural roads, that's when we'll have some visibility issues. We can kind of see that fog here on our Lucinato live camera. Temperature right now here in Rochester at 35. 37 in Austin. We're still at 36 in Winona and in Mason City. Foggy conditions continue through most of the afternoon and evening. Foggy conditions, though, improve, so our visibility does improve throughout the afternoon and evening coming up on Saturday. Future track radar, cloudy skies, a lot of rainfall off to the east of the Mississippi River. We will stay mainly quiet here tonight. I don't think we see a lot of rainfall, maybe some light drizzle here tonight, and really just looking at some fog through the evening hours. Maybe even some freezing fog tomorrow morning. We'll have the breakdown on that coming up in your full forecast. Tom.
Crazy weather. All right, thank you, Nick. Hometown Opera Company is here, a group of singers in Rochester and surrounding areas who, of course, love opera, love sharing it with others. We are lucky you are here for Midwest Access. So they have a concert coming up February 3rd at Rochester Civic Theater, and we want to introduce Michelle Howard and Kate Rogers. Thank you so much for joining us. They had a little bit of a warm-up right before we began Midwest Access, and phenomenal.
Oh,
How long have you been singing together?
Well, probably I would say 5 years or so. When did we do Patsy Cline? That was like 5 years ago or something like that. We met as background singers for Always Patsy Cline at Rochester Civic Theater.
Nice.
And then we connected over our shared love of opera.
Okay, so do you have people request that you come out and sing at events, or do you have private? You're going to have an event coming up in February as well, but like, what do you do throughout the year? You sing at churches?
Yeah, we're actually, we're just sort of getting going. So we've done a couple parties and events and a summer festival. And then we've done like an educational workshop for Rochester Public Schools, so that was really fun. But we've got some things coming in the works, not only for this year, but next year too, including a concert that we're planning at a museum in Rochester here too. So we're excited about that.
Talk briefly about the February 3rd concert, and then we're going to get some music as well. But so tell us about that February 3rd event.
Yeah, it's called apricity, the warmth of sun in winter, which is the definition of apricity.
Okay, okay.
We landed on that word because it just was a beautiful sounding word and you don't hear it anymore.
Apricity.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that word.
I hadn't
It's a
either,
beautiful
yeah.
word.
It is. And it's a wonderful concept that we Minnesotans can really latch onto at this time of year. And nothing makes us feel more warmth, you know, no matter what time of year it is, than beautiful music.
So it'll be the two of you at this concert, and to give us the setting, where will it be, and who can attend?
Yeah, so it'll be in the lobby at the Rochester Civic Theater. Michelle and myself will be singing, and there are, I want to say,
7 others.
7 others. Yeah.
And a string quartet. Locally, the string quartet is called Campion String Quartet.
Okay.
A couple of them are members of the Rochester Symphony, and they're just wonderful. We've created, Stephanie Tranquita helped us arrange some pieces that we're singing with the string quartet.
I love that.
Be lovely.
I studied opera.
What?
Years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can hear it. I can hear that.
Don't force
Join
me to
us.
do a run or anything here, but I'm really excited. And can you just really quickly show the smartphone and how that piano, I had to do some music one time and it was a cappella. I couldn't get the key and someone showed that to me, and those darn smartphones, they have everything.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Aren't they
I know
wonderful?
sometimes the pitch pipes aren't as reliable as the technology, unfortunately.
But you got the pitch pipe. Okay, so
So-
let's get some music here,
All right,
A
sounds good.
little
Got it.
sample, all
We'll
right.
be singing,
Sous le dent épais,
thank you,
Paoli.
from Lakme.
Yeah.
And welcome back to Midwest Access. Apricity, their concert coming up in early February. You have to check it out. It's really a pleasure to have them here with us. Someone else it's a pleasure to have here with us on Midwest Access is my friend Caitlin Alexander, joining us for some news headlines. Did you get a chance to hear their music?
My music? I hope not mine.
Their
Their
Apricities.
music.
I've heard you sing.
Beautiful. Nobody wants to hear that, believe me, not me, no.
Well, check out Apricity. Anyway, so what's happening in the news at this hour?
Yeah, Tom, Minnesota lawmakers are looking at a bill that would allow physician-assisted death for terminal patients in the state. In a rare out-of-session committee hearing, the House Health Finance Committee heard hours of testimony from people with first-hand accounts. Committee Chair DFL Representative Tina Liebling of Rochester started the hearing with an acknowledgement of the gravity of this issue on both sides. Some advocates argue that the practice can easily be abused and strips away a patient's right to life. A key worry they expressed was the treatment of disabled Minnesotans.
You will hear people testify that they don't want to be trapped alive in a disabled body, and they want a doctor to write a prescription for them to kill themselves, not from pain.
The bill's author, Representative Mike Freiberg, says the bill is only applicable to adults with terminal illnesses. It's important to note that language in the bill says action taken will not constitute a suicide or euthanasia. Freiberg believes the bill comprehensively allows people's control over their death.
My bill has protections built in for both patients and providers, and absolutely nobody is required to participate. This is an individual decision.
Last year's State Fair poll suggested that roughly 70% of Minnesotans support the issue, but votes likely will not follow party lines on this bill. The 2024 legislative session begins on February 12th. Governor Tim Walz is expanding his search for someone to lead the new Office of Cannabis Management in Minnesota. Walz has expanded the application process to include the use of a professional recruiter from Minnesota Management and Budget. While they conduct a nationwide search for a permanent director, he says Charlene Briner will serve as the interim. The law making recreational marijuana legal in the state passed in May. Since then, the Office of Cannabis Management was created to regulate cannabis, issue licenses, and develop regulations outlining how and when businesses can take part in the industry. Director applications are being accepted until February 26th. Election season, as we know, is in full swing, and there are some important local races on the ballot this year, including Rochester City Council's Ward 6 seat, currently held by Molly Dennis. She has not yet officially announced if she will seek re-election, but a hopeful candidate is announcing his intention to run. Mark Schleusner is the first candidate to put his hat in the ring for the city council seat. The Rochester native describes himself as an experienced leader and strategic thinker. He previously served on the Rochester Public School Board from 2017 to 2020. He says he also has experience working with large budgets and has training in the ethics of being a public official. If elected, Schleusner tells us he wants to see more collaboration between local governments and will keep affordable housing and taxpayers at the forefront.
Rochester is at a point where experienced leadership is important. With the announcements that we know we have in front of us as a community, there are a lot of changes in front of us that need to be well thought out, well planned, and a strategic thinking mindset for many years to come is needed now.
Candidates can officially begin filing in May. A passing vote by the Rochester City Council has major impacts on the future of downtown. The 4-3 vote confirms that several blocks will now receive historic landmark status. South Broadway Avenue, historic 3rd Street, and several blocks of 1st Avenue will help make up a district of more than 30 buildings that now have this status. According to a Rochester Heritage Preservation Commission board member, the concept behind this designation is to give these 19th century buildings more protection from potential changes and allow them to obtain more grant funding.
It costs more to maintain an old building, so we've got to figure out a way to make that an economically feasible thing for these property owners, and we have to make it so it's something that really makes sense for them business-wise.
According to some business owners in the new district, there have been no known benefits to this change.
No business or property owner has gotten value from this most recent passing of there being an historic district.
Now that the landmark designation has been voted on, a lengthy process lies ahead. The city must draft an ordinance for this district. That requires 2 hearings in city council meetings, plus an approval from the mayor. An alert from the Minnesota Department of Health for the parents of young children. A new health screening is being added to routine screenings. MDH is adding Duchenne muscular dystrophy to the list of conditions for which Minnesota newborns are routinely screened. DMD is the most common form of muscular dystrophy. It's often first noticed as muscle weakness in the arms or legs. According to MDH, this condition has a life expectancy of 20 years and is most common in males. Based on the Minnesota's population, we're told about 9 newborn cases could be detected each year, allowing for early treatment. That's a look at your local headlines. Be sure to join us for the very latest at 5 o'clock. Tom, back to you.
All right. Welcome back to Midwest Access. So again, it's not easy raising a family. We know that, especially if there are some behavior issues involved. Joining us now is Angie Ellsworth. She is the owner and parent coach of Time Out Behavior Coaching. Angie, welcome. So tell us a little bit about your background. You started off in schools, though, as what?
Yep, I am a dual licensed school social worker and school counselor, and I spent about 20 years here in Rochester in the public school district, and 10 of those years were also spent as a behavior specialist, and that was where I really found that I liked really observing behavior and helping people kind of problem solve what's going wrong and giving some research-based ideas and examples on how to try to do things better.
What did you see before COVID? And what did you see after COVID?
Well, we all have been influenced by that pandemic, right? So it's kind of a collective experience that we've all had. And even though that has happened, we've all kind of learned how to deal with it or cope with it on our own. And before, I mean, there's always challenges that people are working through and dealing with. But after COVID, I really found that there were several families that I was working with and several students that were still just struggling more than what seemed to be typical. And many of my parents were asking for more support, more information, more resources, because things in their homes just weren't coming back to what they thought were normal.
I think you feel desperate, you feel there's a fear factor as well, and then you start thinking, what do we do, and why is this not working, and who can we reach out to? And you are someone families can reach out to.
Yeah, my team and I, we provide in-home parent coaching services. We do a lot of education around many of the issues that parents bring to our attention and develop a really trustworthy and transparent relationship to be able to help in the moments of those meltdowns and those troubles and the times where you're just stressed out and but still worried about your children and how they can learn some better skills to really impact their life in the long run.
I have sisters with many kids. I've stopped counting how many nieces and nephews I actually have. But I mean, so I'm really interested in this as well. Speaking of coaching, what is this tool you have here?
So one of our baseline tools and skills that we like to talk to parents about is about emotional vocabulary and learning tools to help kind of regulate your emotions. And this is just a tool that I like to use based on a research-based curriculum, and it helps. It's a visual tool to help students and children identify different feelings based on color, and then also as those feelings escalate, they are given the opportunity to choose some tools that help them calm themselves and cope, and this visual helps them articulate that when they might be a little bit too energized or too frazzled to tell you how they're feeling and what they need.
Really briefly, so you have a rest area, you have go, slow, and stop. Okay, those again, visuals that the child will tell the parent. Stop.
Oftentimes you can say to your child, what zone are you in or what color are you feeling? And if a child doesn't know all those words, right, they mainly know sad or happy or mad. So they can point to something and then the parent can say, okay, so you're feeling mad. What tool do you need? To calm down, and it might be I need a drink, or I might need to listen to some music, or maybe I should color. So it really helps open up a conversation with the parent and the child on learning more about your child and what they need and how you can help support them.
Because the child is feeling, obviously, stress in the moment, unable to fully communicate with the parent, and then that catapults into the parent feeling stressed, and then the whole family eventually, I mean, it can just really be this snowball
swirls.
effect.
Yes.
And then also tools to get into the green zone. I like that as well. Count, sometimes counting. Take a deep breath, which is something, I mean, these are good skills, I think, beyond children for even adults.
It is, and a really key factor for helping children regulate is that parents also know how to regulate their emotions. And sometimes, it's human nature to lose your cool once in a while,
Sure, we
but
all
doing
do.
having a redo, kind of saying, "Oh, sorry, mommy's upset. I just need to start over. Can you help me take some deep breaths?" And we call that co-regulating, where then you and your child would take some deep breaths together.
I like that.
Absolutely. And then we're modeling good coping skills, and we say, okay, now I'm calm, I'm going to start over and not yell. And I'm going to do this better so we can understand each other and move forward.
A quick other tip you would give? I love the breathing. What's another one that you could tell parents?
Yeah, I would say if you're going to give a verbal redirection to your child, you say things that set limits and boundaries for what you expect. Like I like to use, I'm happy to talk to you when your voice is calm like mine.
Ooh.
And that keeps me calm and also gives an example of how my child should be talking to me.
As an adult working with colleagues, sometimes we have little blow-ups. I mean, that is actually, I'm happy to talk to you when your voice
is calm like mine.
Although my voice might
and
be
you
shaking.
stay calm too, Tom.
Yeah, right. I have to stay calm
yes,
too, I suppose.
you do.
Okay, so how can people reach you?
Absolutely. Please learn more on our website at timeoutbehavior.com. And then we're also on X, Facebook,
Sure.
Instagram, social media. We do have some classes coming up in Rochester and Byron and Spring Grove coming up this spring. So more information on those is on our website.
And we have a link on our website as well, Midwest Access. So thank you so much. These are real important, valuable tools that I think all people should actually know and understand and also use in their daily walk. So thank you so much for
You're
your time.
welcome.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me.
We'll still have a lot more fun to come. Comedian Larry Reeb, headlines Goonies Comedy Club tonight. He's going to be with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Larry Reeb is going to headline Goonies Comedy Club tonight, tomorrow. The fun starts at 7:30.
Yep.
Tonight.
Tonight and tomorrow.
So you're a familiar face in Rochester. You've been here a few times. What do you like about Rochester?
They pay me.
It's always a good thing.
I get money.
You don't do freebies here in Rochester?
No, they come and they pay me, and it's good. Crowds are good here. They're usually pretty good.
You're from Chicago.
Yeah, I grew up, though, in a little town in Illinois, Dwight, Illinois, where there was a women's prison and a mental institution. And my parents met. Here I am. Ta-da!
I was gonna, so like, where do you get a lot of your, okay, you have to change up the routine, I can imagine, but where do you get a lot of your material?
Just whatever you see and think, well, like I heard you, marijuana is legal here now, right?
It is.
I smoked one time. I got real hungry and felt like getting naked. Now I can't go to Cracker Barrel anymore.
Okay. See, you learned your lesson, right?
I learned my lesson.
All right.
Once was enough.
Do you, when you do comedy, and you have, were your parents still alive when you entered into this comedy arena?
My mother was.
Yeah. What does she think about using
She's not
perhaps,
alive anymore, but.
But initially, or family members?
She was for it. She was for it. I was from a little town where people thought I was an idiot to be a comedian. There wasn't, I've been doing it, I started in the 70s, and there wasn't any venues really at that time.
To be a comedian.
But she was for me,
Yeah, well, that's good to have that support. It is a lot of work to be a comedian. I mean, you're in front of a live audience.
Yeah, it's second nature to me. That traveling and stuff. But I like to travel. I don't, and you say, how do you get stuff? Just weird stuff has happened to me. Like one time I'm driving, a guy hit my bumper. I get out, he gets out. He was in full clown makeup. So I go, you drive like a clown. He's like, what are you, a comedian? Yeah. What's the odds of this?
Is that a true story?
That is a true True story.
That's pretty good.
We should get a lottery ticket.
I think so.
Well, it's based on the truth. Here's how comedy works. I was driving and I look over. The guy was in full clown makeup. So then I
And then
came
you're
up,
thinking, if
what
I
if?
did this.
Comedy is all what if,
Yeah,
mostly. What if he hit me? And that's how you write.
What's
That's how you write a joke.
What's your
Tip from your-
favorite when you're on stage, or is there a city or has there been a stage where you thought, yeah, this is just totally me, I'm in my element? Do you have those moments?
Oh, yeah.
Like the
Hopefully
audiences responding?
Yeah, hopefully a lot, yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about
What town? Well, I like Vegas. I work Vegas a lot. I work at Brad Garrett's from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh,
I work
yeah.
his club,
Yeah.
and I work with him. He MCs sometimes, so that's a great.
What is that like to meet, some of the famous other comedians and celebrities in the circuit that you
well,
are
if they're
on?
nice, yeah. He's a real nice guy.
He is.
And his act is like Don Rickles, only meaner and dirtier.
Oh.
But he's like the nicest guy in the world, though.
I think watching a good comedian, a good show in Vegas would just be the ultimate. I think that would just be so much fun. So,
Yeah.
But you know what? Goonies, pretty
Not
close
as
second.
fun as Goonies.
Yeah, Goonies would be the most fun because
Goonies
hey,
is the best.
here in Rochester. So Larry Reeve's going to be performing tonight, 7:30. Also tomorrow at 7:30. Tickets are available. We have information on our website, Midwest Access. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
I loved your joke, so I mean, I think people are going to have a good
I got
time.
a lot of
I think you
jokes.
probably have
One
a few
after
more,
the other.
right? I love that. Thank you
And
so
a lot
much.
of them I can't do on TV, so come
Yeah, okay, yeah. Better come to the show, right?
Right.
We still have lots to come here on Midwest Access. Your first alert weather is coming up. And by the way, here is the question of the day one more time. 85% of us cringe. I want to hear what you're thinking about this here. Whenever we hear this, what do you think it is? Anything? Anything?
No, nothing comes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. It may surprise you. We're going to have the
All
answer
right.
at the end of Midwest Access. Stick around.
I gotta stick around.
I don't know, maybe this weather's not putting a smile on your face, but it certainly put a smile on my face. I love how he comes up with jokes.
Yeah, all the comedians that we have all the time that come in here on Fridays and they go to Goonies, they always do a great job.
What's really fun is people don't get to see us talk, during commercial breaks or just, and I think some of us should go on tour. We
Maybe
could
you.
probably perform at
Maybe.
Goonies. No, are you
Yeah,
kidding?
maybe you.
I would never have the
You'd-
courage.
Out of
They would-
everyone,
they would boo me off the
no,
stage.
they wouldn't. Everyone here loves Tom Overly.
Oh my God.
If they
Not
just
really.
just to hear Tom Overly tell jokes, come on.
Please. All right. Speaking of a joke, this weather is a joke.
I know
It's not feeling like
no,
January.
it's not January weather at all. It feels like I'd say late March, early April type of weather is what we have, and we have another dense fog advisory in effect. This is in effect starting at 5 o'clock later on tonight, lasting until about 10 to noon tomorrow for some areas. So through Saturday morning, we'll have some dense fog for mainly looking at areas in those darker gray colors. We'll see if we have at least that advisory extended in terms of our locations coming up later on tonight. Visibility here locally, we're down to, 0 at RST. So that was the latest reading there from RST. A half mile in Winona, quarter mile right now in Austin, 3/4 in Albert Lee. So dense fog continues here this afternoon and getting into the evening. Visibility wise, notice some real dense fog through the next couple of hours. Things do improve tomorrow. The thing about tomorrow morning, I do think we actually have the chance for some freezing fog in some spots. So make sure to be careful if you're traveling, say 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Could be some slick spots on those roads. Here's a look at some of our Lewis and Out Alive cameras, and you can see this is right near I-90 in Austin. Can't see I-90 at this point in time. We have the fog here in Rochester and out in Lake City. Everything okay downtown. Visibility again will be fine when you're inside the city limits here. Temperature right now in Rochester, Lewis and Out Alive camera. We are at 35 degrees, 37 in Austin, 36 in Winona and Mason City. Temperature's not at freezing, so freezing fog not an issue now, but could be later on tonight. Rainfall remains to the east of the Mississippi River, and that'll stay that way here tonight. Maybe some drizzle in some spots. I don't think we're looking at anything in terms of accumulations with our rainfall tonight. Temperatures, we'll keep a real close eye on those here later on tonight. I do think we have a really good chance. Notice Albert Lee had about 31. We do have the chance at reaching 32 to 31 degrees by tomorrow morning. That'll give us that chance for some freezing fog. The big thing tomorrow, the cloud cover sticks around, high temperatures into the mid-30s again on Saturday. We fast forward Saturday night into Sunday. High temperatures remaining in the mid-30s. Notice, though, we start to break up some of that cloud cover, and I think that happens throughout next week, too, maybe even seeing some sunshine. Our snowfall statistics still not looking good for Rochester and most of the area. We're only at 7.6 inches for the month. We'll end the month at about 5 inches below average. Notice this season we are just at 10.4 inches as a whole. And look at the next 3 months. We average about 10.7, then 8.6, and then 3.3. If we're just right around average, that would only put us at 33 inches of snowfall for the season. Our average since 1991 is 51.9, so we'll be well below that. Temperatures here tonight, 30 for the overnight lows, some fog and some freezing fog tonight. 7-day forecast, 34 for the high Saturday, 33 on Sunday. And look at those temperatures coming up next week. Highs will be in the mid-30s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So those high temperatures will be awfully warm. I think by next weekend, we have a pretty good chance at reaching into the 40s, so not wintry-like whatsoever. Tom.
All right, thank you, my friend. Watercolor artist Nicole Hansen is here with us, and she has a card-making workshop to tell us about. It's this weekend. It's like tomorrow at Gallery 24 here in town. Welcome. Okay, so we were talking briefly while Nick was doing his weather, and this is so fascinating. You tell us a little bit about these cards, first of all.
So these are the cards that we'll be making at the workshop tomorrow.
Okay.
There are 3 different designs. I have a daisy, a rose, and a fern. And I just brought different examples that I have done, just picking different color combinations.
And you drew these?
I drew these, yes. And if somebody is interested in coming to the workshop tomorrow and doesn't think that they're that good at drawing,
right,
never fear. I have
because
templates.
You are here.
Yes. I've made some templates, and you'll be able to just trace and get the same look as well.
So what is interesting is that you use 3 colors, 3 primary colors?
Yes.
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Primary colors. But with the primary colors comes magic.
Yes.
And that is this.
Yes, so I brought this. Color wheels always surprise me. I don't know why I'm surprised every time I make a color wheel, but I just used my red, yellow, and blue. I already filled them with water, so they're a little bit.
Red, yellow, and blue.
Yeah, so those are these 3 big boxes, and then I just gradually added more red or more blue or more yellow and got all of the secondary and tertiary colors, and then also more of the neutrals in the middle as well.
So to get an orange, for example, you use a little red, and then a little yellow.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the purple is blue.
The blue and red.
And when I think of purple, I'd never really think of blue being a major ingredient in that, but blue and red. So again, the magic of colors.
Yeah, and that is how I look at things. I look at anything and I am automatically thinking, what colors and what ratios would I mix to get that color?
What is a color that is a color that you tend to swing back to often?
Blues.
Like blues.
I love the blues.
Yeah.
And there's such a range of them too. These teals and aquas and dark blues.
Interesting. Okay, then we'll move on. But green is what? A green is a mixture
yellow
of...
and blue.
Okay. It's good to know. I mean, seriously, the world is your oyster when you get these
My favorite tidbit, if you want a more natural looking green, like these are really kind of, not garish, but they're not grass.
Right.
If you want a natural looking green, you add red. Just a dot.
Just a dot.
Just a little bit. It'll take over.
So it doesn't destroy the whole thing.
It will make it brown if you use too much red.
Okay.
But if you use just a little bit of red with your blue and yellow, you'll get a nice natural looking green.
So what I like about this class, again, it's going to be tomorrow, the watercolor workshop, floral card designs, and it's going to be at Gallery 24, which is on Elton Hills right here in town. So what I like about this is oftentimes we have stressful worlds and lives, and our families stress us out, and we need that really calming thing to do. And I think something like watercolor and exploring with the colors, I think that could help mentally as well, give you a mental break.
Yeah.
Do you have people coming in and saying, help, I need to calm my brain and I want to learn how to do some of this stuff?
People love to do watercolor to relax and to de-stress. And as long as you're willing to be a little bit loose with what you expect, That's great because watercolor is watery. It will run. It will not stay in the lines. So,
which is kind of like life as well.
Yeah.
Life can get messy, but this is pretty good. Okay, so quick demo.
Yes. So I'm going to color this daisy. I'm going to paint it with a blue.
Okay.
I had decided this already before you asked me.
That's okay.
And one of these blues up here with just a little bit of yellow in it was really speaking to me. So I'm going to mix up this color. And I'm just making more right now because I want to make sure I have enough for the whole page.
And we might even have you just finish this and kind of toward the end of Midwest Access, maybe come back and see kind of as you're doing your masterpiece. Okay, you put water on.
I'm starting with water. This technique is called a wash. You start with just the water and then you add in the color and it runs. And it will fill up all the space. It will run even if it's laying flat, which is how I usually paint.
And if you are a control freak, this will be a good exercise maybe of having you just relax because the colors are going to go everywhere.
Yes.
All right, so again, this is going to be at the gallery tomorrow. We have more information on our website as well. You continue to do your masterpiece. We're going to go to break. Still more fun here on Midwest Access. So we have a really wonderful photography exhibit to tell you about, and we're going to be joined by the photographer himself when we come back. Stay with us. Photographer Mustafa Abdulaziz is here with us now, and you can see his stunning photography at the Minnesota Marine Art Museum now until June 13th. Mustafa, welcome. Mustafa is from Berlin, originally from New York.
Originally from New York. Now I live in Berlin.
And what brings you then to Minnesota? Let me guess, maybe a show?
I've been asked by the Minnesota Marine Art Museum, a really lovely group of people, to exhibit about 12 years of my photography on water and climate change around the world. And we put on a show about 56 photographs. 3 works of this is water, the second part of the project, and a work I made about a year ago in the Arctic. So that's all going on at the museum, and it unveils tonight.
Okay, the museum is incredible. They always have amazing exhibits. You being, of course, one of them, and that's going to start today. It's going to continue through June.
Correct.
When you are out doing your work, what do you hope that your art will do to inspire people or to touch them? I mean, what do you want? What's your mission through your artwork?
Well, the most important element of photography for me is that someone is able to imagine and see themselves in not only the moments, but in the people that are being documented, whether it's photojournalism, documentary, whether it's news. Photography is ultimately about us trying to find meaning and understanding about the world around us. So I hope they have the time and the space to enjoy even the most difficult things, to enjoy and reflect and question their world because they're a part of this world and what they do matters. So in that way, what I hope is that they're able to see themselves in others.
There's a lot of emotion, strong emotion in your work. Where does that come from? Because you have to kind of frame things up. I mean, do you look for that, or when something happens, like how do you
kind of catch the vibe?
Yeah.
You know, like when something's unfolding in front of you and you've spent time, you've earned some trust, you've done your research, you've done your due diligence, you'll kind of just notice that this means a little bit more than that, or this way the person speaks here really touches on what they care about. And that sensitivity you can kind of carry forward into anything, whether it's photography, whether it's anything that's human relations. And so I kind of try to find the vibe with that. And
we just have like a minute left.
Yeah, I'd love to show.
Can we take a peek?
Yeah,
because
a little peek.
This is like a debut here, right? I mean,
yeah. I just unpacked this. It was boxed in London. It's a little collection of prints. There's about 14 of these prints here. One of them is going to be the 15th print of the 15 boxes I make.
Well, let's look at one or two here.
Look. You want to hold it? You want to assist me?
Yeah, I'll assist you. I don't want to.
See if this works.
I can't touch anything because.
No, it's all good.
So again,
that's a photograph.
Beautiful photographs, and this will be at the Minnesota Marine Art Museum beginning today, going through June. Mustafa, thank you so much. These are
Thank you.
incredible.
Thank
we will
you.
check it out so much.
Hope you guys enjoy it.
We do, and we'll be right back with a look at the question of the day in just a moment. Outstanding.
Yeah, we got to a good one.
Welcome back to Midwest Access. Here is your question of the day. 85% of us cringe whenever we hear this. What is it?
Okay.
And the answer is
Our
own
voice.
voice. We talked about that.
Yes, we did. And it's true. It is
true.
hard
What
initially.
do you think, Nicole? Do you cringe if you hear your own voice?
Yes.
Yeah. It is. It's weird.
It's not how I hear it.
Right.
When I hear a recording of it.
But you know what? Your artwork, I ain't cringing over here. I love that. That's beautiful.
you.
And we're also just saying really quickly that if I'm going to get a card from someone, I like the handmade, the original. And you can't get more original than a watercolor, right? It's perfect. So thank you so much. And again, the gallery tomorrow.
Gallery 24 tomorrow. Come make a card to send to somebody.
Okay, well, we've had a good Friday here. Thank you so much for watching on Midwest Access. Hey, look at this handsome guy. He's got our 5 o'clock news. Yeah, we're talking about you. 5 o'clock news coming up. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Here's what's coming up on KTTC this hour. Farm funding, an updated bill is long overdue now, the latest from Capitol Hill. Plus, better think twice, the dangers of heading out on Minnesota lakes in our mild winter weather. But first, absolutely ridiculous. That is what former President Donald Trump calls today's verdict in the defamation case against him. Your 5 o'clock news starts right now.
Live